Hi, my name's Shane. I use they, them pronouns, and this is Impossible Landscapes. It's an ongoing game that's part of the Open Hearth gaming calendar. Open Hearth is a community that plays and discusses lots of role playing games, tabletop role playing games, especially Indian story games. Uh, if you want to find out more or come play with us sometime, check out openhearthgaming.com. I can't imagine there are too many people watching the ninth session of this series who aren't already familiar with Open Hearth Gaming. But if you don't know, we have an upcoming Open Gaming Weekend, which will be a sort of online convention with a lot of free one shots and two shots that anyone can come and join and enjoy a nice game with us. As you can see, we are down a couple of players right now. It's blaming Australian daylight savings time, which I think maybe has confused some North Americans. Hopefully, at least one, maybe two more players will be joining us during the session. We'll see how we go. But we haven't had a session in 2 weeks, so I'm excited to get back into it. Gonna ask the players who are here to introduce themselves and their characters to get us started. Mark, why don't you go first?
Hello, my name is Mark, and my pronouns are he, him, and they, them. I am playing Yelena Anisimov, whose pronouns are she, her, a former, I guess, long time ago now, Russian KGB employee, scientist person, um, but now has been in the US for about 25 years, um, and is kind of obsessive about the King in Yellow at this point. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to get back. I'm selfishly happy that no session happened last week because that means I didn't miss anything. So that's me.
All right, thank you very much. And Blake.
Good day, I'm Blake. He, him, playing Felix Strassman. He, him, a physicist, teacher, Delta Green agent, generally confused person.
Fair. So I have just a little bit of admin before we get started. Your regular reminder that we're using a set of safety tools. If you have any questions about that, we can go over stuff. But also, I realized that I've been forgetting some of the resilience rules, which obviously are kind of reskin of the sanity mechanics in Delta Green. So I just wanted to mention two things that I have been forgetting, but will try and be more on top of going forward. So one is basically there are three things you can lose resilience to, right? Violence, helplessness, and the unnatural. Uh, Anytime that you lose resilience to violence or helplessness without freaking out, so without losing five at a time or without hitting your breaking point, um, you get to mark one of the checkboxes on the character keeper, which says, something like resilience lost from violence without being overwhelmed. If you mark all three of those before your character freaks out, so before you hit a breaking point or take more than five resilience loss at one time, you'll become adapted to that kind of resilience loss. Being adapted has both positive and negative mechanical effects for you, but that's sort of something to be aware of. I'll try and call for it, but also just, if you can track that on the character keeper, that would be great. The other is that when your characters experience particularly traumatic events around each other, there's a roll that we should be making to see if you sort of start to develop bonds with your Delta Green teammates at the expense of your other personal relationships. So that is something that I will look out for in particular going forward. So I just wanted to let you know. So it's not that we're introducing new rules. It's just that I kept forgetting them, and hopefully we'll remember them from here on. Does that make sense? Cool. Now, starting sessions in this part of the campaign with a question to help sort of flesh out the way that Carcosa's influence is affecting the world around you. This week's question is, you've both been having sort of recurring dreams where you're lost in a strange city, where you're running late for an important gathering, a party of some kind. In the dreams, what is it about this strange city? Like, what's a specific thing that you see in the city that disturbs or alarms you? Uh, uh, Mark, I think I'll ask you first.
I think that Yelena keeps having a sense of like being stalked or pursued in some way. So, walking in the dream, walking through the city, like she would catch a glimpse of somebody or something standing, in a dark alley as she walks by, like across the street, um, with the silhouette of which seems unnatural in some way, but still hard to pinpoint in its unnaturalness. Like it's human enough, but something stands out as not being quite human. Um, and so, glimpses of that, hearing footsteps behind her, seeing a reflection in a window or a shadow, in a tall bill, like in the window of a building or something like that. I think that's something that really gets at her.
Nice. Felix, what about you?
This is in dreams, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like some of the people are walking as usual. Others are kind of leaning forward and pouring themselves into the next spot, compiling themselves, and then arcing over again, like there's some sort of sea creature, and the other people don't notice or don't care.
Awesome. Thank you both. So, to recap where we're at, it has been a couple of weeks, so I'll go into a bit of detail here. You were assigned by Delta Green's Agent Exeter to investigate the disappearance of 4 patients from the Dorchester House, which is a psychiatric hospital with links to Delta Green. You don't really have any leads so far on the missing patients themselves, but you've sort of learned a lot around the missing patients. You learned that Agent Exeter wasn't really working for Delta Green, effectively meaning that you weren't really working for Delta Green. He had been corrupted by the forces of Carcosa. Last night, Yelena executed him, and then Tara burned his house down to conceal the evidence. At the same time, Sarah and Felix performed a demon summoning ritual from the Ars Goetia, and shortly thereafter received a phone call from the Dorchester House nurse Esther Samagina, who shares a name with the demon that was summoning and was able to reveal some things that there was no way a person should have been able to know, some things about the death of Sarah's father, and she also confirmed that none of the missing patients are dead, or at least as of last night. So it's now late morning. You'd gathered in a diner. Tonight, 11 p.m. of the day, this day in the game, Felix has a scheduled debrief at the Trivellino Mall with his old Delta Green handler, Agent Bart. But you are also separately reporting to a different Delta Green handler named Agent Melissa. You have some concerns about the debrief with Agent Bart, but we'll see how you handle that a little bit later. And just as a reminder, since it's been a while, the sort of main leads, I guess, you have at this point, if you want to follow up any of these, obviously you know there's something up with Nurse Samagina, who is also at least sort of a demon of some kind, perhaps other staff and patients at the Dorchester. And you have 2 phones that you took from Barbas or Agent Exeter. There's the satellite phone he gave you to contact Delta Green, and the flip phone with the sigil of the demon Citri that you seized from his house before burning it. There's definitely other stuff you can investigate. You're welcome to go off in whatever direction you want, but those to me are probably the most obvious things. We're just going to hand wave what's happening for Sarah and Tara right now, and it's going to be up to you. What are you going to do?
All right. So, did we at all? I can't remember if anybody did a roll about this flip phone and the sigil on it. Citri?
I don't think we've looked at either phone much.
So yeah, I guess it's true you haven't looked at them much. You do know that it's the demon Citri. I'm pretty sure we talked about what her reported powers are last time.
I do not remember.
That for you. That's all right. Bear with me for one sec. So it's another of the demons from the Ars Goetia. according to the text, Citri is a great prince of hell and reigns over 60 legions of demons. He causes men to love women and vice versa, and can make people bear themselves naked if desired. He is depicted with the face of a leopard and the wings of a griffin, but under the conjurer's request, he changes into a very beautiful person.
Huh. Exeter trying to get somebody to fall in love with him. It's weird.
If you want to, like, there's a computer science skill. If you want to try and, learn more about it, you can try. Well, actually, I'm looking at it now, and a computer science skill of 30% or better will be enough to just get you some information, and then maybe some extra stuff if you want to roll for it. I'm not
That
sure.
would be a Felix thing.
Felix, what's your computer science?
It's not that high, I don't think. 40.
Okay. So I guess what you can. All right. So what you'll find out, even with a failed roll, you can tell that it was activated on the 29th of June this year. So it's early September now, just a few months ago. It was first used in the Boston area, and it was activated using a sort of prepaid calling card. So there's no, there's no sort of trail back to who bought it or an account or anything like that linked to the phone. You think that someone slightly more skilled in computer science than you would be able to potentially hack the SIM card and find out who'd been called and things like that. But that's just beyond you at the moment.
Okay.
With a cult, could I potentially try to figure out like the significance of like why this specific symbol is etched onto a phone of all things? Like how that would
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. What's my called? 84.
Sorry,
That is a pass.
You succeeded. I just lost the dice roller for a sec. So I guess what you figure is that you've learned recently that a lot of people around this situation have the same name as demons, and you suspect that this phone belongs or is connected to someone named Citri.
Okay.
You haven't encountered anyone with that name, just to be clear.
Right. Okay. And I recall for the other phone too, like we actually did use it to take the files.
Yeah, Sarah used it to request some files on the missing patients, I think.
But okay, but now that we know that you weren't actually working for Delta Green, it's kind of weird, like who actually answered that phone and how did they have access to the files?
Yeah, good question.
Okay. I'll look at Felix and be like, okay, Felix, I'm gonna hit like whatever the last dialed number on this cell phone is. What do you think?
Sure.
I'm not as much of a smooth talker as Sarah, so we'll see how this
goes. Okay, so you redial the last dialed number, and an officious professional voice answers and says, "Dorchester House Psychiatric Facility. How can I direct your call?"
I didn't think this through.
I'm going to say, is Nurse Citri there?
Good call.
I'm sorry, there's we don't have a Nurse Citri here. Did you?
Sorry, we've got some medical notes for a patient. We were just trying to find it might be a Dr. Citri. We're just trying to find out who was last visiting this patient we're looking at.
Sorry, who am I speaking to?
I don't know, name the hospital that that the other guy worked at.
Wait,
that
which
that
hospital? Okay, so you say that you're from another hospital.
Yeah,
You hear her typing, like she's looking up a name or something like that. She says, "I'm sorry, there's no Dr. Citry here. Who's the patient that you're trying to find out about?"
you have one of the names of
the missing ones.
four.
Yeah, so Wayne Malta.
All right. Look, Wayne Malta was a patient of Dr. Dallin's. I could ask him to call you back. That's the doctor that you've already spoken to, just to be clear.
Oh.
No, that's fine. We've already consulted with Dr. Dallin. That's fine. All right. Thanks for your time. Yeah.
Okay, well. Wait, there would be... Wouldn't there be a call log though? Like this is 2015. Wouldn't this call have like a call log like of recent calls made without having to look at the SIM card?
In 2015, it's probably I guess it is a flip phone. It's probably pretty straightforward. All right. Yeah, let's say that you're right. So you can see that the phone's only been used to call 3 numbers. One of
Okay.
them is the Dorchester house number. If you do a little bit of Googling, one of them is a private cell phone number. No name comes up associated with it. And one of them is a number that's registered to room 616 at the Boxer Hotel in Boston.
Okay. Why does that sound familiar?
Do you, do you want me to answer that, or do you want to try and figure it out?
Wasn't that one of the ones built or designed by the same architect? The same?
No, there's no buildings in Boston that were designed by Darabondi.
Okay.
The number 616 has come up a couple of times.
Mhm.
You found yourselves on the floor 616 in the night floors, and
Yeah.
the number on the satellite phone that Barbus gave you, the number that you dial to reach "quote unquote" Delta Green, is *616. So
Right.
there are some strange coincidences around the number.
Hmm. Okay, and no like received calls, only outbound.
That's right.
Okay. And only one time for each of these numbers, or
Uh, the numbers have. Good question. There are probably multiple calls to those numbers.
Okay. All right. Well, no way but forward here. I think I'll ring the hotel number.
So you're going to
Ask for
ring the number that's the phone used, or you're calling the hotel reception?
No, I'll ring the number that the phone used.
Okay, there's no answer.
Yeah.
It rings out.
Okay. Then I'll call the hotel reception.
Okay, so the concierge answers your call.
Can I please be transferred to room 616?
Certainly. Hold, please. But she'll just transfer you again, and the number will ring out.
It's still ringing. Okay.
Actually,
right,
sorry,
so-
I'm going to retcon that slightly. She's
Okay.
going to say, "Hold, please," and then she comes back on the line and says, "I'm sorry, we don't have a room 616. Is there a guest that you're looking for, or is there
Yeah.
some other way that you'd like me to direct your call?"
Like, no, that's all right. Thank you. Hang on. Does that hotel even have like that many floors? I'm gonna Google. Does that hotel have
Yeah,
that many floors?
a quick Google will show you that it has more than 6 floors. There's no obvious reason why there wouldn't be a room 616. The other thing that I should probably tell you is that the last call on the phone, or the last calls, were from early July, so it hasn't been used since then.
Oh, Okay, so purchased in June, only used in July, and then just hung around. All right then. Um, okay, I am going to. I guess I'll just call the private number and see what happens there.
Okay. Bear with me for a sec. I'm sure the text is going to tell me what happens when you do that. Okay, so you call that number. A woman answers the phone, and she says in quite a excited voice, "Michael, is that you?"
I am going to. So I'm going to like really like up the Russian accent, and I'll just be like, which I'm not going to replicate. Um, I I found this phone. Um, I found this phone early, but I guess it's still morning. I found this phone yesterday, last night, and I'm just trying to track down maybe who owned it to see if I can return it.
You need to take the phone to the police now. Michael has been missing for over a month. You need to take that to the police, the FBI, like someone like that.
Like Michael who? What name should I give?
Michael Whitwer. Yeah, tell the police that you found Michael Whitwer's phone.
Like and you are
My name's Ophelia Citri. Tell the police, please. Anything that you can tell them might be really important.
okay. I'll be like, yes, of course.
Thank you.
So I'll hang up and be like, and I'll relay to Felix and be like, well, this number leads to another person with the last name of a demon. And
Right.
Michael Whitwer, was that the name of one of the missing?
No.
No.
Nope, that's not one of the
What's the
4
name
missing
of
agents. This is the 5th person.
There was a name
Or,
that we've heard before. I feel like we've heard that
um,
Yeah. Felix, do you remember where the name's from?
no.
I can't remember which of you had this encounter, but in the night floors, some of you met a Delta Green agent who had been strapped to an operating table.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
me and Sarah met
Yeah,
that
right.
guy, yeah.
That-
And then he
that
disappeared
was-
in front of us.
The name he gave you was Michael Whitwer.
That's right.
Right. Okay, so but that was
Hang on.
20 years ago. And this
Yeah.
person said he's been missing just for a few months.
Well, great, another time anomaly, because we've already had one. So,
Brandon's joining us now, or Tara's joining us now. Hey, Brandon, how you doing?
Hey there. I'm glad to be joining you.
All right. Just to let you know, we are recording at the moment. Is that okay with you?
It is.
All right. So just to briefly update you on what's happening, Yelena and Felix have been working the flip phone that you seized from Barbas's home before it burnt down, and found that it belonged...
before it burned down. Yes.
I'm sharing your delicate sensibility.
The agency has been removed from that sentence.
What they found is that the phone belonged to Michael Whitwer, which was the name of a Delta Green agent, or someone who claimed to be a Delta Green agent, that Felix and Sarah encountered in the night floors many years ago.
I remember Felix and Sarah mentioning it.
The phone was only used to dial 3 numbers. It was like a burner phone. It's only been active for a few weeks. in late June, early July. So it called Ophelia Citri, a woman who Yelena's just spoken to, who seems to be a personal contact of Michael's, the Dorchester house itself, and also a room at the Boxer Hotel, room 616, which hotel reception claims does not exist. So that's where we're up to right now.
Got it.
And I think you're sort of still in the diner, or you're, working from some workspace.
Yeah. Okay. And also, this person, Ophelia Citri, her last name is also the name of a demon whose sigil is like etched onto the phone.
That's right.
Oh, that's the sigil that that we found.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that being on the phone. Yeah.
And so now we're just figuring out what we want to look at until this meeting with Agent Bart later tonight. So sounds like, I mean, we could check out the hotel and see if we can find this room, whatever significance it has. I'm not going to bring this phone to the FBI.
Yeah, no, that seems like it would just engender more questions.
Yeah, the Ophelia Citri person was like, he's been missing for 3 months. Like, take it to the FBI. Like, it could be evidence. But it might be worthwhile to ask any of our Delta Green contacts about this Michael person again. Yeah.
Well, like you said, it's so old that even Delta Green might have trouble coming up with what the circumstances were.
Yeah, although the conflict there is that the person on the phone claimed that Michael had only been missing for a few months,
Oof.
whereas we encountered him 20 years ago, or Felix and Sarah did.
Yeah, on the night floors where, well, at least space is malleable. I suppose time could be as well.
Probably.
No, we don't know. This, this Carcosa place clearly operates by different rules than we do,
Mm-hmm.
which is.
And then the other.
Anyway. Yes, and the other.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say the other thing was that since we discovered that Agent Exeter was not actually working for Delta Green, it now brought into question when Sarah used the satellite phone to get to call for files on the 4 missing agents, who actually answered if it was not a Delta Green person.
Yeah, or were they a Delta Green person that was corrupt somehow?
Or, yeah, potentially.
Which, given our experience so far, isn't something we can rule out.
Do we want to use a satellite phone to ask about Michael Whitworth?
Good.
That would at least tell us if we were talking with Delta Green, right?
Maybe.
Yes.
No, I mean, if we basically say we have, a name, Michael Whitworth, what is it, and what do you have something meaningful about that in the files? And if that's an agent, they're going to say, and if they're not Delta Green, then they won't know to say that. I don't know. I can't think of anything stronger.
Right. Well, we asked it to Agent Marcia, right? And she said that she couldn't find any information about. So if we actually get something from this person on the other side of the satellite phone, then I guess we'll know they're not really working for Delta Green, but they know something. Anyway, I'll just try it, I guess.
All right. So I'll call on the satellite phone.
Mm-hmm. So a male voice answers and says yes.
Just trying to find out about who this person is.
And you give the name Michael Whitwer.
Yes.
So you hear a sound like typing, a pause. Michael Whitwer is Agent Vega of the program. He has been missing since July 9. Do you have any information about Whitwer's whereabouts?
No, we're looking for him. So he's a recent agent. He's only been missing for like a couple of months. Is that correct?
Well, we do have information about it if you want to share it with them, which is that he probably disappeared onto the night force.
Yeah, we told Marsha that back in the day, but maybe she didn't write it down or pass it on. And I'm not sure I want to tell this person that.
Okay.
Well, yeah, honestly, we don't know if this person is with Delta Green.
Michael Whitwer outside of the program was a DEA agent. His disappearance has triggered a DEA investigation, and you should take care not to attract the attention of the DEA if you investigate his whereabouts.
Yep.
If you have any information about his whereabouts or any information about an operation he was involved with, you should provide it immediately.
Well, we're not sure if he was involved in something or he was investigating something. But if he's a recent Delta Green agent, at least that tells us something. Okay. All right. Thanks for your time.
All right.
All right. So, yes. So the phone call's over. I'm just talking to these two now. Yeah. Okay. So definitely recent Delta Green agent. So what the person we saw before was a vision of the future or something, or they would, yeah.
Or
anyway.
Well, I mean, or he got trapped in the past, right? Take your pick. If he ventured out to the night floors back in July, he may still have been there 20 years ago. Yeah, and I it's hard to talk like this, but you know what I mean.
And again, I'm not even sure if the people on the other side of the satellite phone are in fact Delta Green agents.
Well, they knew he was Delta Green. I mean, they confirmed he was Delta Green. And it's hard to imagine anybody with the program that would have such ready information on Delta Green. I mean, if they're that penetrated, then anything's up for grabs. I'm not willing to assume that yet. Anyway, do you think it's worth checking out the hotel?
What else do we have to do until this meeting?
Well, we wouldn't have time to get there and get back, will we? So maybe I should stay here.
The meeting's not till your meeting with Bart's not till 11 p.m. and I think we're probably saying it's around lunchtime at this point.
Oh, so because we can take the train or whatever to Boston and have a quick look at the hotel. Oh yeah, we're in Boston. Duh. All right.
Yeah, we're in New York.
I kept thinking we're in New York still.
Right. So yeah, it's just a short drive to the hotel if you want to investigate there.
I mean, maybe we're in New York and Boston simultaneously. That seems to be the implication.
Stop that. I'm willing to believe that we might be in Boston and Carcosa at the same time, but not Boston and New York. And frankly, for Carcosa, I'm going to want to go outside and see if there's a second sun in the sky.
Now, Sarah got us government ID stuff like NSA, FBI, all that crap. So we could always use them when we go to the hotel.
Right. And in fact, I think Yelena's was DEA credentials, so maybe that will help down the line.
All right. So you go to the hotel. Do you want to stop at reception, or do you just want to head up to the 6th floor?
Yeah.
We want them to let us into that room, don't we?
Well, I mean, I'm partial to go check first.
Yeah, let's have a look around first.
Okay.
I mean,
The
you also have,
reception said on the phone that 616 doesn't exist. So.
yeah. So if you looking around as you arrive, it seems like a pretty regular, hotel, probably used by a lot of business people, tourists, things like that. There's nothing very remarkable about the building itself. It is 12 stories tall, so clearly there is a 6th floor. Looks big enough that there would be 16 or more rooms to a floor. What do you do?
Elevator, I guess.
All right. So you head up to the 6th floor. As you come out of the elevator, there's those signs like you see in an elevator in a hotel. One arrow pointing one way that says rooms 605.
When we go to use the buttons, can I put in 616?
Yeah, I mean, it just means that you're going to stop on the 1st floor on the way to the 6th, but you can definitely do that.
Worth a try.
Trying to cast a spell in the elevator. That's.
There's an arrow that points in the direction of rooms 611 to 622. You follow the sign. You find that the rooms on one side of the hall are numbered 614, 618, 620, and 622. 616 doesn't seem to be there. The numbers on the opposite side of the hall, the odd numbers, run consecutively: 611, 613, 615, 617, 619. Can you all make a resilience check for the room being missing?
Yeah, under by a lot.
It's a success. So on a failure, you're going to lose 1 point of resilience.
On a failure, you lose 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh
boy.
But on a failure, you're also going to sort of turn a corner after you've realized that 616 isn't there and see the door marked 616.
Oh my god, we're on the night floors. I'm having flashbacks.
I mean, it still seems like a regular hotel. There's nothing obviously odd about it. It just seems like somehow you missed this little, corner pathway before.
Somehow I need to detach myself even further from reality to see what's missing. I don't know if Yelena has yet realized that. Like, all right, well, here's the door. So is it sort of like it's just like around the corner and it's the only door?
Yeah.
Oh god. Okay.
What do you do? There's a keyhole. The door's locked.
Knock, I guess.
There's no answer.
All right. Sarah's always the one who's good with the lockpicks.
I think Tara's probably strong enough to force the door.
I can, if I brought my tools, especially.
You don't have a pry bar? Just
I have a
carrying
pry
around
bar. I'm a fireman, or a fire chief now, but a pry bar was kind of the least thing that you brought.
Right.
So I think it's
I
plausible that
I can
that's
pop a hotel room door.
Yeah, so that was, down in the car trunk if it wasn't with you, so you're able to get the door open. I guess you should make a stealth roll, Tara, to see if anyone notices you popping the door or hears it.
My stealth is not great.
Huh.
Hang on a moment.
Sure.
For me, please. It's because I'm switching computers.
Can I just check, like, this lobby doesn't look like the night floors at all, doesn't look like the...
Nothing about the hotel seems like anything, nothing that you've seen so far seems like anything other than a regular hotel, except that room 616 is sort of out of sequence with the other rooms.
Okay, so what was it, the building, was it the Manchester building?
McAllister.
Yeah, McAllister. It doesn't resemble that in any way, not in...
No, this is just the plainest, most boring, like, cheap tourist hotel that you could imagine.
Okay. Great.
And also quite modern, where the night floors were sort of archaic looking.
Yeah.
Archaic's not the word, you know what I mean? Old is what I'm trying to say.
It's not Art Deco, it's modern. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Brandon, if it's convenient, we could take our break here if you just want to get yourself set up. Sorry, you broke up a little there.
Just ready.
Brandon, I can hear that you're talking, but I can't hear what you're saying. Oh, here we go.
You've redirected me back. There we go.
There we go.
Okay, now I'm set.
Okay,
here's my roll. I got a 28, which is a pretty good roll, but I don't think my stealth is up to it anyway. Because I'm not a very stealthy person.
No special stealth. All right, so you've made quite a loud noise breaking the door open. It definitely seems plausible or likely to all of you that someone's noticed that. Maybe is gonna, report or check on it or something like that. But you've opened the door and the room's in front of you.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll just mistake it for somebody slamming the door or something like that. Hotel doors are noisy.
Hopefully. So you see a hotel room with 2 double beds and a fold-out couch. You can see that all of them have been used. There's, people's belongings, there's papers, all kinds of things, like a hotel room that's been in use. I guess what you'll figure out pretty quickly without really needing to spend time searching is that, there's dust settled on everything. So it's more like people were using this room, left abruptly or weren't able to come back some time ago.
Is there any traces that it might have been the 4 missing people, or?
Make a search roll. Search, that is a skill, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Failed by a lot. God damn it.
I passed.
Let me try. Yeah. It's actually something I'm good at. Yes, made.
Okay. So you establish that you can figure out pretty quickly that only 3 people have stayed here. So definitely not the 4 missing patients. Let's see.
Is there any indication in the papers scattered around what their preoccupation may have been?
Yeah, you can. If you start looking through the papers, so there's. When I say papers, there's I don't even know how to pronounce this word. A small leather valise. I take that to mean something like a briefcase or a folder or something like that.
Yeah, a valise is it's a briefcase.
Okay.
An attaché case.
So it seems to be quite old. Inside there are many papers, a lot of them in French, some German, and some English. And lots of the pages have a Delta Green stamp on them. They're dated to the stamp says 1951. If you want to spend like some time going through those papers, you can figure it out in more detail. But I think even from a sort of cursory examination, it's clear that these are papers that concern the King in Yellow in some way.
Yeah, I mean, you have some time. I speak French, so probably parse something from that. But I think like anything we can use to figure out like who these people were, if they have like any identification or anything, correspondence.
All right. I guess I'm like, how long do you want to spend here? Given that you've made a fair bit of noise coming in, are you going to you can probably search the whole room in about half an hour between the 3 of you, but do you want to do that, or is it more that you want to grab what you can quickly and get out?
No, we've got official IDs. We can take our time.
Yeah, I was thinking that we could probably convince somebody that we're doing something important.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll keep an eye out. If anyone comes, I'll go up to the door.
Yeah. I mean, especially if this room doesn't exist, anyone reporting a problem with it might run into the same issue we did.
Okay, so you're going to find quite a lot of stuff if you take the time to search the room. We'll go back to what's actually in that file afterwards. There's a dresser drawer that has a mask and silver robe in it, like what some of you, or I guess just Felix, saw at the encounter group meeting. There is a key card, some sort of access card. It has a small logo embossed on the side that reads eMagico, and a little clip to attach it to your belt or a lanyard or something. And in the wastebasket, you'll find a sort of crumpled napkin from the Gateway Bridges restaurant, which you remember is where you met Agent Exeter. And you also find, the Gideon Bible is in the wastebasket, which seems a little odd. You'll find enough, sort of personal material, ID and things like that to be clear that Michael Whitwell was one of the people staying in this room. And various, clothes consistent with 3 people having stayed here.
So this must have been a Delta Green cell then. Any indication of who the other 2 people are? Or were?
Yes, and I will tell you that when I've checked my notes, but maybe after the break. So the other 2, the names you get for the other 2 are not familiar.
The robe and mask, we saw those on the night floors, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, says Tara.
Received several packages.
That was a long time ago, but I remember one of the the doors, strange. Remember, we opened a bunch of doors
Yep.
that had like sounds behind them.
Yep.
One of them had accoutrements like this.
Yeah, we had to wear them for this encounter support group thing that Sarah and I went to the other night.
What was it? Was it anything about the King in Yellow or Carcosa or anything?
I don't remember specifically, but Exeter was there, the guy that hired us.
Right.
And it was in the dark, and it was all about exploring your mind and stuff. And someone mentioned, the maze and finding your key in the maze, which we ran into in the night floors earlier.
Yes, I remember that. The Cavern of Winds.
Yeah, the Whispering Maze or something. You got to find the bottle that's your bottle, which is the key to get in. Yeah, someone mentioned that during that meeting.
Seems like a lifetime ago.
Yes and no.
Clear as the first time we were there in my mind.
I've been trying harder to forget it than you have, I guess.
So, Yelena, if you read through the papers that are in French, what you'll pretty quickly put together is that this was originally French intelligence files dating back to before the Second World War. Some of them going back at least as far as 1895, and the first French performances of the King in Yellow. So it appears to be the original. You did know this. You and Sarah had established this in the passage of time, that French intelligence investigated the play, ultimately shut down the final performance. These files seem to relate to that. There's extra material, some of it German, which I don't think you read, but most of the extra material are the English pages that seem to be Delta Green files or records.
I read German.
Oh. So between you all, the text includes 2 complete copies of the play, one in English and one in French. There's a photo of a man you don't recognize with a handwritten note that says Medford, July 5th. Medford you'll recognize as the suburb where Barbas lived. And the photo is stamped missing October 1951. And I guess like what you're noticing as you look through these papers is that there's some handwritten annotations as well as the files themselves. There's a very old photograph. It appears to be probably from around the early 1900s, late 1800s. And it shows 2 actors in pantomime with like pantomime outfits, hats and masks and things like that. But you can clearly see that man is or was Elias Barbas, who obviously could not have been alive when the photograph was taken. There's a handwritten note on part of the play that's about dreams, and that note reads, "West window during sleep?" And on the last page in the file are a series of handwritten notes. One says, "Words copy themselves." One says, "Call O." One says, "Making books in the house?" One says, "Dallin 9 on July 8th. And one says, "Mace, stun gun, zip tie, put in DH, then raid Medford H and burn."
So I'll sort of like scatter these papers out and be like, it looks like Delta Green has been investigating this whole thing for a while now.
Yeah.
I'll also show Tara the picture of Barbas, Exeter. Be like, Tara, what if it's true? What if he didn't die?
I don't believe it. I might believe he came back, but no one could have not died.
Okay. Well, at this point, we're arguing.
I might believe that there are two of him more than that he didn't die. Sarah shot him right through the head.
Yelena shot him right through the head.
Elena, I'm sorry, you shot him right through the head. There's no way. There's no way he didn't. And then he was burned in a fire. There's no way he didn't die.
And there should be no way that he's over or 1890. Yeah, like 120 years old or whatever it is.
Well, we don't know that that's the case. Just because he was, even if he was there back then, we've already seen one case of someone displaced in time.
Yeah, he may have just gone to the night floors and come out at a different time. Simple, however, illogical conclusion.
Well,
or
no,
at least improbable. But not impossible, apparently, because it sure seems to make sense, if anything about any of this makes sense. So there's this play that's been reenacted in many forms.
Yes, that's clear.
And the French and the Russians were investigating it, and now we're investigating sort of what happened, as well as the play in general.
It was put on in Paris. Didn't we heard about that, right? It was put on in Paris in the 1800s.
In 1895.
1895, yeah, that's right. And that's kind of the first mention that we've had of it that we know.
I think that's right. That's the earliest instance that you've come across.
Right.
You know that copies of the play had circulated in France prior to that.
Right. But that was the first. Maybe it was the first production in France, at least the first production we've heard of.
That's right.
Okay.
And since then, yes, they've been
looking into it.
Right, and we don't know what happened to the theater or the players.
No,
and also you'll get some of that from reading the file that you've just discovered.
Okay.
Which goes into it in some detail. But let's take a short break first. So come back in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Everyone good to continue? So the other thing that you're going to figure out, like reading through the files, is that the French files were sort of seized by the US Army during World War II on maneuvers on operations in France. The files were found near a place in France called the Chateau de Port, the House of Doors. They were brought back in a collection of seized materials and ultimately filtered back to Delta Green, to a Delta Green agent named Emmett Mosby, who was tasked with going through the various files that had been collected. Mosby, in early 1951, as part of that process, translated The King in Yellow into English. The copy in English in the file is his translation. And Yelena, you'll know from your obsessive research and conspiracy boarding that the first published English language edition came out just a few months after that. So probably what you would put together is that Mosby has published his translation as well as incorporating it into the file. And according to the stamp on the photo, Mosby then went missing in 1951, although perhaps was seen recently in Medford.
So there's a long history of Delta Green agents becoming obsessed with this play. Why else would you publish it?
It also seems like we're looking for a Delta Green cell, and there's also another one that's kind of gone missing. That
Well,
I don't know. Are we supposed to find them as well, or are they looking for the first group, or they?
This Mosby guy went missing in 51, which
Because
was
there's like Whitworth's one, his group. Then there's the
Uh-huh.
ones from the psychiatric facility. They're a separate cell, and both teams are missing.
Seems that way. Huh.
This Ophelia Citri, do we reckon she's Delta Green, or is she just Whitworth's mother half?
That's a good question. I think we need to confirm a lot of things with Delta Green here before we.
Have they actually helped us very much?
I mean, if anything, like maybe confirming some information so we know what kind of approach to use. Because if Citri is Delta Green, then we could approach her as Delta Green. But if she's not,
that's a question. That's a reasonable question to ask then. Because certainly she's not going to disclose that she's Delta Green.
Well, you have sort of 3 separate conduits to Delta Green at this point, or to different versions of Delta Green. Which one would you approach if you're looking for information about Citri?
We could keep an eye. Oh, well, actually, do we know where she is?
Not yet. I think that like having called her, established that she's a person, you could probably Google, find some social media or something like that and find that she's based in Las Vegas. In fact, there's probably I guess I was going to say there might be news reports, but I guess that's probably not the case. She wouldn't come up in news reports about Whitworth's disappearance if there are any.
Because I guess we could ask via the satellite phone.
Yeah, that's what I'd be inclined to do.
I am not inclined to use the satellite phone because Exeter is the one who gave us that.
Yeah.
Well then, what's your choice?
Agent Melissa or Agent Bart? Although we don't even know the stat where Bart stands since Felix hasn't spoken to him in several years.
Melissa sort of went to pains to be cool with us, where it's Bart's just like, meet me in a dark parking lot at night.
Well, let's go with Melissa then.
All right, so you want to call Agent Melissa? Is she on speakerphone with the 3 of you, or is one of you going to make the call?
I think speakerphone is.
Yeah, speakerphone's fine.
All right.
Because she met me and Sarah, so she'd probably know that I'm working with these lot anyway. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. So she answers the phone. Do you have an update?
Yes, rather. We really don't know where to place these things in terms of the context of all of this information. Are you aware of a missing Delta Green agent by the name of Michael Whitwer?
Is Michael Whitwer involved in this situation?
Potentially.
Tangentially, yes, or he was.
Michael Whitwer has been missing for some time and is the subject of a DEA investigation.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you know about Whitwer's whereabouts?
It seems that we found his last known.
He was. We encountered him on the night floors 20 years ago.
Why are you telling me this now?
Because we didn't know his disappearance had anything to do with this here until now.
And because 20 years ago, when we asked about him, we were told that he wasn't an agent, or that there was no agent by that name.
Well, I'm sure that 20 years ago there was no agent of that name.
Right. Makes sense.
So now we're telling you because it's not coming back up.
Yes. We recovered a phone that he may have been using. And it's one of the numbers in it connected us with a Miss Citry. What was her first name?
Ophelia.
Is she aware of his connection with the program?
You can hear her typing like she's looking things up, I guess. I don't believe that. My understanding is that Citry is his girlfriend, effectively, not a part of the program.
Right. So,
if you are minded to contact Citry, please be careful. She is under surveillance by the DEA as part of their investigation.
Except for the call to her investigating the numbers that we found in this phone. We have had no contact with her, nor have we given her any information.
She did seem genuinely concerned.
Well, I'm sure she is. Her boyfriend's been missing for some time.
It also seems that we came across his safe house, I guess, or the hotel room he was using.
He was using, yes.
When you say, why would Whitwer have been using a safe house?
Well,
I ask you this.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I ask you this because Whitwer was not on a Delta Green operation at the time that he disappeared. He was not on a DEA operation at the time that he disappeared.
Wow.
So if he has...
The reason we say that is that we found papers that apparently he was studying together with unknown other persons.
That date back to the 50s.
Yes, in a hotel room. Again, that we found through this cell phone. These papers date back, right, as I said, to these 50s, and they have to do with the play.
Does it include a copy of the play?
Yes.
And references to to performance in Paris, and the subsequent finding of a copy of the play by American forces during the Second World War, and other information of that kind.
We have reason to believe that the play itself may have occult properties, so I strongly encourage you not to read the play text, but to arrange to turn it over to me as soon as possible.
Yes, we know that there have been there have been attempts to reproduce the play. Have you that using machinery that seems to connect to an external source of unknown origin?
I don't really know anything about that. I'm sorry. The program is keen to obtain a copy of the play. If you have one, if you leave it in the green box that I established for you, I will arrange for it to be collected.
Right.
I also have something that I would like to share with you. Sarah asked me to ensure there was no evidence associated with the remains of Elias Barbas.
Yes.
I have established that Barbas is alive. It is likely to be reported on the news shortly that he is going to be, or has been, detained by federal agents on terror charges based on material they found in his home, or the remains of his home.
I will give a very pointed look at Tara.
Barbas was, as you know, the one attempting to reproduce the King in Yellow. While he is alive, that is a risk that he may be able to recreate the means that he was using to reproduce the play.
Barbas is now in federal custody. If you believe that Barbas is a threat, then, well, I don't even know.
I don't know either. That's why we're reporting it. Yes, Barbas remains a threat. Whether he is an actual threat or not, but there is significant potential.
I think at this point, like, Yelena is like trying to restrain herself because Tara is speaking so just matter-of-factly about something.
Tara's all clamped. You can tell Tara's all clamped down.
Okay.
That Tara's had to report about really traumatic, terrible things to people in a matter-of-fact fashion, and she is employing that professional skill, but it is not because she doesn't feel it. She's had to tell people their loved ones were found in fires. She's had to report relatively grisly things, and she's of course been at completely non-occult terrible events, and so she has learned how to do that, but you can tell that it is not because she doesn't care, it doesn't affect her.
Felix will say, Agent Melissa, I've got a meeting with Agent Bart tonight. He's going to let me know what's happening from his end. I don't know if he's...
Agent Bart?
Yes.
Agent Bart is who?
That's what I'm going to find out. He may be a corrupted agent who's removed himself in some way from the program. I'm not sure. He is a former handler of mine, but I was going to go on my own so I don't endanger the rest of these people here.
You're telling me that a person claiming to be a Delta Green handler has...
Well, he was a handler in the past. I did Delta Green work for him in the past.
I don't know who Agent Bart is, but he has not worked for Delta Green in the past. There is no case officer of that name associated with the program.
8 years ago, I did blah blah blah. I thought it was all normal Delta Green stuff.
There have been... How do I put this? There are certain individuals who believe in the mission of Delta Green but refuse to subject themselves to the chain of command and to the structure of Delta Green, of the program.
Yep.
It's possible that Agent Bart was one of those people. If he is, you should take... Well, actually, I am giving you an order as your case officer. Do not make contact with Agent Bart again.
Oh, well, I'm supposed to meet him. He's going to think something's up if I don't go.
He will think something's up. You should take precautions.
Okay.
Okay. Do you?
Yeah, I was going to be cautious. That's why I didn't want these two to go. I was going to go on my own. And just say, if I'm not back in an hour, bye. Because
I don't know that I consider it a precaution to leave directions that you might not return. Agent Bart is not part of this program. He may be well-intentioned, but he is not part of the program. He is not authorized to receive information about your operations, and you should not have any further contact with him.
Okay. I'll sit back so I can let the others talk.
Okay, other than that, I think that covers everything. Oh, were you aware that the first English translation of this play was apparently published by a former Delta Green agent?
That is a disturbing allegation. I am not aware of that.
Mosby was the name, I believe. 1950s.
I mean, certainly I'm not especially familiar with the Delta Green agents of the 1950s or operations. If that's true, it's extremely concerning.
Right, well, we'll keep you updated on what else we find. That's about it so far.
All right, well, thanks for your report.
I'll hang up. I'll be like, so do we or do we not know who is jerking us around right now?
No. Well, us four are not jerking each other around. I'm quite confident that's a fact.
All right, so where does this leave us all then? Are you still going to meet with Agent Bart?
I think you should. Just don't presume he's Delta Green.
I didn't. I figured he was a former agent or something. He's been obsessed with the thing. That's what I was thinking. I don't have a gun, though.
Well, I do, and you're not going by yourself, so...
Are you sure? Because I didn't tell him anything about who's with me. I just said I'm looking into something.
I'm not saying he'll see me, only that you're not going by yourself.
That's up to you if you want to do that, but you don't have to, because at the minute, as far as from Agent Bart's thing, it's just me. Whereas Agent Melissa's met Sarah and I, so, you know, it's different. All right.
So I take it we didn't tell Melissa about Barbas in detail.
Well, yeah, I don't think that any of you have told her what happened, but Sarah asked Melissa to clean up any evidence that might implicate you. So
we're at the cafe when they had that chat.
Yeah, I thought we did note that, at least that we suspected he was dead, or was pretty confident.
Sarah definitely told Melissa that he was dead.
Yes, okay, that's what I thought.
So I think she knows enough about that whole situation.
Hopefully, his being in custody will prevent him from doing anything.
Or at least slow his goals and plans down. In the meantime, we can...
You can't build one of those printing machines, whatever they were.
Yeah.
I just want to point out, I'm going to hold up one of these pieces of paper. This note suggests that maybe this play self-replicates.
Well, if it did, then Barbas built a lot of machinery to make a copy of the play. So I don't know that I believe that it does self-replicate, but I think it's possible that it has. I think it's possible that when the reality of Carcosa intrudes, that people learn how to make a copy of the play, that it penetrates into people's minds somehow.
Like a meme or a earworm. It gets stuck in your head.
Some sort of telepathic.
It's like
idea.
A spiritual or a dream connection instead of played on the radio or whatever.
Yeah, and then that permits that guides them, because something instructed Barbas how to make that portal through which he got the plans to do all those machines that he did. He didn't devise that from his own self. Somehow he discovered how to do it from an external source. I can't say for sure.
So Exeter gave us a mission to find these Delta Green guys, this cell that went missing from the psychiatric ward.
Right.
So
just
are
to
we
be
still?
clear, you don't believe that the 4 agents in the ward were a cell, or you don't. Nothing has suggested that they were actually working together.
Oh, they were just people missing.
No, they were just missing.
They met when they were in the hospital.
Right, but that was from Exeter. So are we still doing that? Or are we not worried about that now? And now we're just going to go looking for Whitwer and his cell, who have been exposed to the play. Or are we still doing both?
Well, we have to decide what our objective is here.
I mean,
our objective at this point is to try to. Our objective at this point is somehow to try to contain the influence of Carcosa, which is mostly manifesting through the play, as it always seems to.
Which Whitwer has been exposed to. We know that. So that's more important than 4 people that aren't Delta Green people and gone missing, but maybe related. Okay.
But we haven't heard about any. The closest thing we've had to anybody doing anything that's play-like is that encounter group, right?
Yeah,
Sorry, I think I might have miscommunicated just before. When I say that the 4 people missing from the hospital weren't a cell, they were all Delta Green agents. They just weren't a group, like a cell together. They were all.
They were to team.
Yes, that's right.
Right. Yeah. No, we got that.
Okay. Thanks.
We still finding them might be an important clue, because they did disappear. And the question is, where did they go?
I think we can make some conclusions here. If Whitwer disappeared some months ago, but showed up on the night floors 20 years ago, the logical conclusion is that these 4 are in the night floors.
Yes. But the question is, how did they get there? If they are there.
Is that really a necessary answer to have? People seem to get there by all manner of ways.
Well,
equally illogical.
The way that we know that they got there before was to be living in a building that was designed to link up with the night floors, right? And then watching a movie that somehow facilitated that.
Sure.
Um,
Is there a TV set in this room?
Sure.
so tell
Is
them.
there a window on the west wall?
There's not. What
Damn
do you
it.
see on the west wall? There's a kind of. Hang on, let me check. There's just a kind of. There are curtains on the west wall, as if there's a window behind them, but behind the curtain is just wallpaper.
And I'll say, that reminds me of that painting. Remember that painter in the cellar? He was looking at what's not in the frame, like just outside the frame. It's like a see what's not there thing. Maybe you have to see the window with your mind sort of thing, not with your eyes.
It did mention dreams. I don't.
Yeah, I mean the text, the handwritten text in the file about the west window says west window during sleep ?
I've been trying to avoid coming to this conclusion, but we might need to go back.
To the night floors?
Fantastic. I think Felix puts his head in his hands.
The night floors just seems like a place to get lost.
Well, what else do we have? What else do we have?
We have a plane.
And what do you propose we do with this play?
There is another option. There was a bunch of people at that support/occult meeting. We could try and follow some of the other ones, see if that reveals anything, or investigate them. There wasn't just Exeter there. And I haven't chatted with Bart yet, so you know.
No.
Well, Felix, if you're still intent on meeting with Bart.
Well, it looks sus if I don't, so.
Yeah, I think you should. I think it's likely we'll learn something.
I can sort of play dumb and, like frustrated, like, Delta Green aren't telling me anything. I'm just trying to find out what's going on. Help me, Agent Bart, Like the dumb wannabe apprentice.
Well, I think there's time to do some other investigating first if you want, but if people are happy, we can just skip ahead to the
debrief.
I think so. All right. So I understand that Felix and Yelena are heading out to Trivellino, which is maybe a half hour out of the city. Is Tara going with them?
Yeah.
All right. So
are you sure you're safer if you're not sort of next to me? I've got a target on my back doing this.
I'm definitely gonna not be visible. I'm gonna set myself up.
Yeah, no, we're going to be in earshot.
Okay.
In close enough to get there quickly if you yell.
All right. Well, you don't have to, but thank you.
So, as you approach them, as you arrive in the area, you see that it looks like this is kind of it's almost like a ghost town. Like they were starting to build houses around here, but they've stopped some time ago. So the area is quite desolate, and there's not a lot of construction around here. The mall itself, you'll see, a few miles out. Sorry, I don't really know how long a mile is. You see it from a fair distance. A big, tall, billboard-topped sign that says Trivellino Mall. The mall is surrounded by, or at least off to one side, there's a big sort of empty field filled with high grass. Nothing's really been built around the mall itself, and I mean, it definitely, it doesn't necessarily seem to you that driving straight up the road into the car park is going to be the greatest idea. Especially, if the intention is that Yelena and Tara will conceal themselves somehow. So, what do you do?
Well, I can drop them off like 2 blocks back, and they can come a more roundabout way to approach the area or something.
I'm just wondering, this is taking place at night, right?
Yeah, well, I guess that was the next thing I was going to ask you. Like, at what time? So the debrief is scheduled for 11 p.m. What time are you arriving?
And what location exactly is this? In this complex?
It was a car park, wasn't it?
It wasn't the car park. I think he just told you to meet him in the mall.
In this abandoned mall?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think this might be the first time you've realized that it was abandoned.
Well, no, I understand that.
Yeah.
Not.
There's probably lots of places to hide, but also hard to sneak in, seeing as that there's no other people.
Well, we'll just have to go in as quietly as we can after Felix is in there. Presumably, once Felix is in there, anybody looking will be looking at Felix.
True.
Yeah, why don't you, circle the block once Felix, and we'll crouch down, and that way we can just see where the approach where the nearest approach the door that you can use.
Yep.
And then you can let us out, and we'll make our way on foot to there and be prepared to follow you in after a little bit.
Yep. All right, I'll do that.
Yeah, so I mean the main entrance is pretty clear. Like just driving through the parking lot, you can probably see there's a van parked near the entrance that you'd be using. The easiest way to get there without sort of walking right through the parking lot is going to be to come through the high grass from the sides, which should be pretty straightforward. Like you'd easily be concealed by the long grass. Felix, can you make an alertness roll? It's surely not a success.
Definitely not.
You don't notice anything.
Yeah, well, at least it's not a critical failure.
All right.
So just to make sure that I'm clear about the plan, Felix is going to go in by himself. Yelena and Tara are going to sort of position themselves where they can approach the mall without being seen and aim to enter shortly after Felix does.
Yeah. And basically Felix is going to be our diversion, as it were, so that we don't have to be too damned quiet.
Okay. Sure. So
then
Felix
we'll have a chance once Felix goes in to kind of scope out the area and see if there's anybody watching from an odd place, or if there's somebody in the van watching or what have you. I mean, who knows? Somebody may go in after Felix, in which case we can, wait on a reasonable period and then follow them.
Yeah. I think I'll sit on the bonnet, munch some M&Ms, just sort of look around.
Okay, so what time do you do that? Like, do you wait until 11 to pull up, or are you getting there?
No, I'm there 10 minutes early.
All right. And so Bart asked you to meet him inside, but you're just going to wait outside?
Oh, okay, yeah, so I'll have to go inside, but I'll take that time. I'm walking slowly, eating M&Ms, looking around.
Okay. I mean, you don't really see anything apart from the van that's parked nearby. It just seems to be an abandoned mall.
Okay.
As you head inside, again, it's pretty dark in there. You're probably going to need to get out your phone to use as a flashlight or something like that.
All right.
It is an abandoned mall. It's very dusty. Everything, it looks like nobody's been there for a while, although you can see pretty fresh footsteps. People have been in and out today, or someone has.
Okay.
It's very quiet. There's pretty much only one way you can go. Like, there's closed stores on either side of you, and you're sort of approaching a fountain on the ground floor. There's some old escalators, but they have, like, they're not running. There's little barriers kind of in front of them. As you,
I'll do a selfie in front of the fountain.
But as you're heading towards the fountain, you notice you see somebody moving in one of the stores. So the stores all seem to be closed long since. But you see, maybe it's a child size, a figure about the size of a child, somebody small, somebody short, all covered in, like, wearing gold clothing and a golden mask. And it kind of dances in the window of the store and gestures towards you.
I'll look at it with my phone as if I'm about to take a picture. Does it look the same, or?
Yeah, and as it dances, it points to the upper level around the fountain 4 times and then makes a gesture like a gun at you.
Okay.
What do you do?
So, cheers, kid. Do you want an M&M?
It doesn't respond.
Oh, all right. I think I'll sort of go to where there's a bit of shadow and I'll look at the entrance and...
Sorry, look back at the entrance that you came in.
Yeah, look up at like the balcony in case there's a guy with a gun or something.
I think that you're not really going to be able to tell that until you get, like, out into the open in that area where the fountain is.
Sweet. There's no stairs up so I can get up to the balcony area, or?
I mean, you could go back and take the escalator up.
Yeah, why not?
You're going to go back and walk up the escalator?
Yeah, I was there early anyway, so that's right.
Okay. Yelena and Tara, like, how long after Felix goes in are you going to move in?
5 minutes.
So about 1 minute after Felix goes in, you see 2 people come out of the truck and they take up positions outside the doors of the mall that Felix went in through. They both draw guns.
Do they seem professionals?
Yeah, I don't think you need to make a roll for that. They do.
Well then. Maybe we should have heeded Agent Melissa's warning. So, like, would we be able to get around, like, to the other side of the mall without having them see us?
Yeah, if you head, like, right around to the other, like, end of the mall, that's, like, quite a ways away. You can definitely do that by going back through the long grass.
Gotta be some stuff.
Let's do that. There might be a side entrance. Let's. I basically jerk my thumb, and get out through the long grass and then trot. And try to find another door.
Okay. Make a search or alertness roll to see how quickly you find another entrance.
Sure. No.
Nope.
I have good scores on both of those, and I blew it.
Well, I think in this case we're just going to say that means that there's just not another entrance the way that you've gone for quite a way.
But not even through like one of the big box stores.
I guess not. So Felix,
don't forget to mark it.
Yeah, mark the skills that you.
Sure.
Felix,
I have a lot of very good skills marked.
Felix, make an alertness roll.
Six. Holy crap! I made it. Yes, I made it.
All right. Well, in that case, you notice the shooters before they notice you.
Oh.
What do you do?
Go.
Did you bring a weapon?
No. I don't have a gun.
I mean, we can definitely say that you have a gun if you want to have brought one. Like, it's plausible.
Yeah, but my dad was ex-Air Force, so it's possible I at least had a handgun or something.
I mean, you're in America. You can buy a gun.
At Walmart. All right. So I'll have a handgun then.
All right. I mean, they're going to notice you soon. You're going to have to decide.
I'll sort of get my gun out and go up to one of them and just say, "Oi, why are you trying to kill me?"
You're going to approach them. Okay.
Yep.
Well, they'll definitely notice you as you approach them. And we'll take our second break here, and we'll see what happens later. So
Blake re-rolls the character.
Yep. That's all right.
I didn't expect you to do that.
We'll come back in 5 if that's okay. All right. So I just want to go back a little bit for a sec. Felix, you knew when you came here that there was a risk that something like this would happen.
Yep.
Did you call your family? You haven't seen them in a few days.
Yeah, because he said he was at like a work conference, so just he's thinking of them and he hopes they're well. It's just his wife.
Like, if I was going somewhere that I thought I might be killed, I might try and tell my loved ones that I cared about them first, or something like that. He's
just saying he would have called his wife and said, he's fine. There's just boring work stuff, and he's thinking about her and hope she's all right, and looking forward to seeing her again.
Come home soon. I miss you. And so we'll flash from there to this guy who's reeling around, drawing an automatic. He's got an automatic rifle in his hands. He's got a torch now pointed at you as well. He's yelling, "I have one target only. One target only. Should I take the shot?" What do you do, Felix?
I'm going to shoot him then.
He's got an automatic rifle, Felix.
Well,
Felix, normal people with facing an automatic rifle, you don't do that.
Is there like a pillar or something I can use for cover, or can I just
like an
automatic rifle? Automatic rifles are designed to go.
Yeah, but you're trained for
through cover, through you, and then
critical
through
situations.
the thing behind
He's not.
you.
He's a teacher.
There are columns. Yeah, there's a column you can duck behind. But we're going to be in initiative order here. So
Yep.
that's going to be in order of dexterity. Their dexterity is 13, which is unlucky
Poo.
for you because that is one higher than you.
Yep. All right.
And he's going to open up with his automatic weapon. So you can make a dodge action off your turn if you want to do that. But
Yep,
it's going
that
to
would
make
be good.
that's going to make it your action for this round. So
Well,
it
better
means you
than
get.
not having an action. So, yeah. I shall do that.
All right. So make a dodge roll. What's your dodge score?
50.
All right. So on a success.
46. So, yep, succeeded.
On a success, you're behind cover.
Yep.
Let's find out what that means.
Yeah, it depends what the cover is.
The good news is, so there's decent cover. Like you're behind a column or something like that.
Yep.
It means that the lethality value of his weapon will automatically fail. So successful hits won't kill you outright unless they do enough
Sweet.
damage. And I think we'll say that the column has an armor rating of 15. Wait, let's say 10. I think that's more reasonable. It says 5 for a thin wall to 25 for a tank. So I think 10 for a column sounds about right. All right, so that means that 4 of them are going to try and shoot you through the column. It is definitely good for you that you have the cover, but this is still going to be a bad time.
4 of them? There are 4 people?
4 shooters. So that's first one is going to hit. Let's see. That is 8 points of damage. So the column will soak it for you.
Okay, yep.
Second one, taking his shot, is going to miss. Probably shooting from the far side of the opening, the atrium. Third one is going to hit for 6 points of damage. Again, the column is going to protect you. And the last one, it's a critical hit.
Bugger.
Yeah, which means I think the cover doesn't.
That is 14 points of damage. So only 4 points will get through, but you have been shot now. And they are advancing on your position. As this happens, you're a bit overwhelmed by the gunfire itself, but you also hear a gong ring out. In fact, the 2 of you outside will also hear the gong, which seems to be close to you, even as you hear the shooting start up inside. I think you, Felix, probably also, in the pauses between the shooting, you can hear sounds like there's people moving downstairs in the mall as well, though you can't see them from where you've concealed yourself.
Okay.
On your turn, you can move if you want. They're gonna.
Well, can I run to like the escalators, jump, and sort of run downstairs, or?
Sorry, jump downstairs or run downstairs?
Well, if I have to jump to get halfway down the escalators and keep running, or is there too big a gap? I suppose it doesn't matter. They're going to shoot me if I stay here. So yeah, I'll just have to.
Yeah, whatever you do, leave your current spot. Stay under cover.
So I'm running for the escalator to try and get down, and I'll jump as far as I can initially.
Okay. Let's see how far you can move on your turn. It just says you can move a little. It's not very helpful. Okay, so you can get to the escalator. The advantage of that is that if you can get out of here, you'll be safe. The disadvantage is that there's no cover available to you now.
Well, if you get down, and you basically fling yourself down the escalator, you'll have some cover.
Yeah.
Because the sides of the escalator will give you something.
Tara and Sarah, sorry, not Sarah, Tara and Yelena, you've arrived at another entrance near the back that you can smash your way in through.
just in
What do
time
you
for
do?
your automatic weapon fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get in there.
Yeah. We'll make an entrance.
All right. So you smash your way through the door. It's still going to take like a turn for you to get back up to the front part of the mall where you think Felix is.
Right. And, with gunfire, we're going to have to, not run through any big empty things.
Big empty spaces.
Well,
Yeah.
we're just watching out for gunmen. I mean, I guess that's
You could just run away,
No, I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, I figured you wouldn't.
You don't know. Yeah, knowing what I do for a living, not a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're just watching out. We're just trying to spot gunmen before they spot us, but otherwise we're running in there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Sarah would kill me if I left Felix behind.
One of my motivations is save those who can be saved, and if they're still shooting, it means Felix is still alive.
Okay. All right. So as the two of you, hang on, I got to write down an initiative order now that there's four of us. What are your dexterity scores?
14.
12. Oh wait, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong place. 10.
Thank you. All right. So as we get into a new round, Tara, you are running towards what is clearly like a big open area of the kind that you're concerned about. It's the area around the fountain that Felix originally saw when he came in. There are 7 figures frolicking in the fountain is the only way that you could describe it. They all appear to be children dressed in gold. You can hear that the gunfire and the sound of heavy footsteps are coming from the upper level of the mall. And it's possible that you'll be like if you run out into that open area, then anyone on the upper level would be able to take a clear shot at you.
There's got to be some stairs.
There's some escalators you can use if you want to go up.
We do not want to go up to where the shooters are if we can avoid it. Unless
But we also don't want to go in the big open area, so what other option do we have?
well, the only option we have is they're not shooting at the people in the fountain. The only option we have is to pause at the edge of the open area and then make a dash for it. They're not going to be expecting us to be here, so if nobody is looking, nobody's going to take a shot.
All right. So I think in that case, your action is probably dodge as well. Like you're trying to dodge by way of concealment, so you can't be targeted as you move across. Does that sound right?
Yeah. I mean, we're trying to basically just pick a moment and go. I don't know what else we can. There's not really a lot else we can do. We need to get over to where Felix came in because that's the most likely place he's going to come out.
Well, you can also hear that Felix, or you can hear someone is like rushing down the escalator that's sort of ahead of you on the other side of the fountain area. Probably would conclude that that's Felix. Like it sounds like there's someone running away from where the gunfire is. So go ahead. You can make either a dodge or a stealth roll.
Both the same for me.
Definitely dodge for me. So.
Well, Yelena, you're last in the initiative order, so hold yours.
It's still. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I made a dodge roll.
All right. So you've successfully sort of conceal yourself enough to dash across that area without taking fire.
And then bend behind something.
Yeah, and definitely we'll see that Felix.
I'm not sure. I've probably been shot at before, but not by automatic weapon.
Probably not like this.
No, never like that. No, I was, I probably some lunatic that we're trying to rescue probably took a shot at me at some point during my career. But they weren't really aiming, and I didn't realize they were shooting at me until I heard the report.
Yeah.
So in this case, I'm just staying undercover because I don't know any better.
Fair. All right. So I think that the escalator, like, it's not going to stop any of them from shooting at you, but it's going to mean all 4 of them can't shoot at you, right? Because they would have to, like, they would all have to gather in the mouth of the escalator at the top, and they'd be kind of all over each other. So I think that only 2 of them can get off shots at you, Felix, on this round. But you don't have any effective cover. The first one's going to hit you for 13 points of damage.
Yikes. I am dodging.
Well, you're not dodging. You left your cover. So dodging against ranged weapons in this game is only effective while you're behind cover. How much damage have you taken?
So you just said 13?
Yeah.
5 left.
All right. The next one is going to take a shot at you. That's a miss. So you are very badly hurt.
Yep.
Make a resilience check, Felix.
Let's have a look. 41. Yes, that's under.
All right. So I think you still take 1 point of resilience damage because you're being shot at is stressful regardless.
Being shot. Not just at.
Being shot. Yes, that's true. Being shot really badly. All right. Felix, it's your turn. You're at the bottom of the escalator. You are badly wounded. The entrance that you came in through is not, you can run towards it if you want. I guess you don't know that the others have arrived.
No. I can see the kids in gold dancing in the fountain.
The way I'm visualizing things, you're facing away from them now. You would only see them if you turn back.
Okay. I'm trying to get out of this area and use cover so that if there's a pile of pillars or some corners, I can go around and.
So what I am hearing is that you're going to keep moving, but you're going to be behind cover as you move as much as you can.
Yeah.
All right, make a dodge roll.
Is there a minus because I'm or anything? Or no? Just all right. So 50%. Oh, I've just failed by 4.
All right. So there's just not really meaningful stuff that you can hide behind while fleeing.
I'm holding my guts in and.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
So Tara and Yelena, you see Felix staggering towards the entrance that he came in through ahead of you. Both of you know that there are actually 2 more gunmen outside that door.
Felix.
Hang on, it's going to be Yelena's turn next. So, okay. Yelena, what do you do?
Oh God. And at this point, I don't really know where anybody is.
I mean, you could shoot. You could shoot me and yell, "The breach has been contained."
From where you are, Yelena, you can see that Tara has gotten past the fountain back into relative safety. You can see that Felix has come down off the escalator ahead of you. Looks to be badly hurt. You can't see any of the shooters from where you are.
Okay, and so I can see that Felix is making it towards the entrance.
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back out and around and see if I can do something about the 2 that are at the entrance to give Felix the best chance.
I mean, it's a long way around.
Yeah.
You're not confident that you're going to get back to them before Felix gets there. I'll let you make
an athletics roll.
Yeah. On an athletic success, that's going to be your action for this turn, though. So you might draw their attention, but you're not going to be able to run all that way and then shoot them before Felix comes out.
Right. Okay. But if I can distract them, then
if you can just if you can fire in their general direction, that will cause them to abandon their exposed positions in favor of something.
All right. Here we go. Then.
Athletics score.
It's 50. Let's see what I. Oh.
All right. So you come pounding back around the front of the mall, breathing hard. These 2 agents.
For a 55-year-old lady.
Okay.
The 2 agents by the door who were sort of preparing to take shots at anyone coming out through the door pivot around towards you. and will have an opportunity to act on their next turn in the initiative. We are back at the top of the round. Tara, it's your turn first. You can see Felix like trying to get towards that entrance. You don't know where Yelena is anymore, and you can hear the gunman from above, like the thundering sound of their footsteps coming down.
Okay. Well, so other than the entrance, is there a way out of this?
I mean, you could try going back the way you came.
Felix is hurt. He can't move that fast. Just give me a sense, because I mean the only I actually I want to get Felix. I want to get Felix and go to ground.
Okay, like sort of cover him. Yeah.
There's, but no, just saying, no, go to ground. This is a mall full of stores, full of hiding places.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If we can't, if we can't get out through that door, and I don't think we can, I'm not willing to go up against a gun with a fire axe, frankly. But if they what's the chance of basically of basically trying to confound them by
I mean you'd have to like smash your way through the window into a shop or something like that, but you could find try and hide inside somewhere and then back entrance to the store or something like that.
So yeah, I'm going to try to see if there's a shop we might be able to go through.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Felix.
So you grab Felix and dive through a window? Is that the kind of thing that we're seeing?
Yes.
All right. I think that I guess you probably take like 1d4 damage from diving through a glass window.
Sure.
I assume that you're going to try and take the brunt of it to protect Felix at this point.
Absolutely. Just protect my eyes. Point of damage.
Yeah, it's not so bad. All right. It's the gunman's turn. Two of them are going to point their guns at Yelena. The two outside are holding pistols rather than submachine guns. And let's see. Yelena, if you want, you can roll to dodge here as well. But again, that's going to be your action for the whole round, and it'll mean you won't be able to do anything else.
Okay. Oof. Dodge is not that good. Okay, I guess I am not going to dodge then.
All right. First one is taking a shot. That is a critical hit. That will be 12 points of damage, doubling for the crit. Second one is going to miss. So make a resilience check for getting shot.
All right. What's my resilience? I passed it.
That looks like a success. So still 1 point of damage. And mark one of the boxes for resilience loss from violence.
So 1 point of damage, 1 point of resilience loss?
Yes. Sorry, no physical. Sorry, no damage from the second shooter. Just 1 point of resilience loss.
Gotcha. Okay. Resilience loss from violence. Okay,
gotcha. And none of the gunmen inside the mall take any actions that any of you can perceive on this turn. Felix, Tara has just dragged you like through the front window of a shop. You're very badly hurt and bleeding. What do you do?
Can I kind of rip my shirt and use it as a bandage or something? Try and hold my guts in, do some basic first aid on myself?
Need to get to safety first. We need to find a way out of this.
Yeah, I'll look around this room if there's like a side door or side chamber or something.
There's like a back entrance to the store that leads off into the hallways in the employee area.
So
that'll do.
Yeah,
all right,
head in that direction.
You head that way. All right. So that'll bring us back to the top of the round. I don't think there's any rolls here. So what I understand is that Tara and Felix are going to like go through that door and start looking for a way out.
Yeah.
Through the back of the mall. Okay. That seems reasonable.
I am propelling.
Sorry, we're not back at the top of the round because Yelena has an action. Are you going to shoot back?
Yes, I'm going to shoot back.
All right. Make a shot.
So that's just rolling the skill, right?
Just trying to roll under your firearm skill.
You did it?
Ooh. Yes, I did.
All right. Roll damage.
Oh gosh, okay, it's a D8. D8 damage. Where is that? 3.
All right, that'll be enough to take out one of the gunmen. But the other, obviously, is still up. Yells something as his teammate goes down. Starts calling into his earpiece. I have a shooter at the front entrance. Darius is down, seeking backup at front entrance, that sort of thing. Yeah, Tara and Felix fleeing through the back passages of the mall. Tara, when you look for a way out, are you looking for a way out towards that front entrance where the gunmen were, or are you looking to go back out the other side of the mall?
No, Felix is badly hurt. I am trying to take him out the most most inobvious direction.
Okay.
But honestly, first priority is to get out.
Okay.
Out of this is the.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you're heading back that way. You can definitely hear that someone is following you, but it doesn't really sound like the heavy footsteps of the gunman that you heard coming down the escalator before. The surviving gunman is going to take another shot at Yelena. Oops, there's no dice in my roll. Why is that? There we go. That is a miss. He shoots at you, but maybe distracted by his teammate just having been killed. He goes wide. Again, Tara and Felix, we know what their actions are. So Yelena, this is you're up again. You want to try and take out this second shooter?
You just run.
Mark, you're muted. I'm not sure if you're saying anything.
Sorry, I was thinking of maybe getting in the van. I wonder if I could.
Their van?
Purloin their van.
Do you have any skills that would let you hotwire a vehicle?
Okay.
Especially under fire.
Didn't leave the keys in it. Okay.
Well, what I was going to say was you can make a luck roll to see if they've left the keys in there. If you don't have a skill that would let you hotwire it, which I guess would be heavy machinery. Heavy machinery seems like a bit of a stretch.
I think, what is it? Criminology, probably.
Yeah, criminology would make sense.
Probably do it, right?
Yeah.
Was it true?
Yeah,
I forget.
I think that's right.
Honestly, I think I'm just gonna try to think of what Yelena would do, and I think she's gonna shoot this guy.
Okay. Well, make
So
a
here we
fire.
go. That is a fail.
All right. So Tara and Felix are gonna continue to make their way through these corridors towards the back entrance, and you don't feel like you're being followed by the gunmen. You feel like maybe there is someone behind you, but not the shooters.
I'm going to see if I can get a look at them.
Make an alertness roll.
Okay. Yes.
So you don't see them exactly, but you catch like a glimpse of like something gold or shining behind you,
One of the
like
children.
just around around a corner. Do you want to stop to interact with them or try and see them better, or do you want to keep going?
Have I seen them or just Tara at this point?
It's one of the children, I say.
I'll say, can you help us?
Yes, I'm going to try and interact with them, but
All right. So like they don't get any closer, so they stay. If they're following you, they must be just back around that corner. Do you want to go back?
I don't want this whole horrible thing to have been for nothing. What do you think, Felix?
Do you want to put me down here and go back for Yelena?
I don't know where Yelena went. She ran off.
Yeah, talk to them.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to go back to the corner, but I'm going to be wary.
All right. So we'll follow that up. We'll come back to you in a sec, but let's see what happens between the gunman and Yelena. So he's going to take another shot at you. But that's a miss.
Oh, okay.
What do you do?
Oh, is it? Oh, I can go now?
Yeah.
All right. And I don't know what the status of the people in the mall are.
You know that you haven't heard gunfire from inside the mall for 30 seconds.
Right, but this person did call for backup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, okay, I think I think I'm going to try to roll luck to get to see if the keys are still in the van.
Okay.
So I'm going to go
Call
with
high or low.
Yeah. I'm going to go high.
Yes.
Nice. So you jump into the front seat of the van. You see that the keys are just sitting in the ignition. A little sloppiness by these so-called professionals. You can hear behind you, the gunman is like calling into the radio that the target is in our vehicle. Target is activated the ignition.
Target is meeting off with our vehicle.
He is, he's shooting at the van as well. Like he's not going to get an action like to shoot at you, but you can hear gunfire. And I guess, probably deep within the mall, like the gunfire is loud enough that Tara and Felix can hear it.
Right. So, is that my turn, or can I do something?
Yeah, I think that's pretty well your turn. You've jumped into a car, turned on the ignition.
Gotcha. Okay.
Come back to you. All right, Tara, you step back around the corner, and there is a child all dressed in gold facing you. What do you do? And she looks a little bit surprised to see you, as if she didn't expect you to come back.
My friend is badly hurt, and we can't go in there because of the men with the guns. Who are you? What are you doing?
She walks towards you, as if she's going to walk right through you. She doesn't reply. She doesn't acknowledge what you've said. If you stay there, she's going to walk right into you. What do you do?
She's walking in our direction.
She's walking directly at you.
Okay, well, I'm gonna step to the side. Does she walk by?
I'll make a dodge roll.
Okay. I mean, if I don't get out of the way, I don't get out of the way. I'm not gonna. No.
Cool.
She bumps right into me, or
she doesn't bump into you. She disappears inside you. She steps in. As she steps towards you, she turns around so she's facing the same way that you're facing, and walks backwards. There's a sort of feeling like static electricity as she enters your body, and then she's gone.
That's much more comforting.
Felix, your phone rings.
The fuck? Well, I guess I'm laying down, so... Hello?
Is that Felix? Says a woman's voice.
Yes.
Do you believe in the saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend?
Yes.
Then I'm a friend of yours. And I've owed you a debt for a long time because you helped me escape when I was in a lot of trouble. And now I've repaid that debt. So don't get in my way again. And the call ends.
Okay, I'll say to the silent phone. Phone.
Tara, what do you do? You've heard Felix have a brief phone call.
I'm going to go over to Felix, and I'm going to try to get it, and I'm going to. I say I'll explain later. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
All right.
Find your car, and I'll patch you up. If there's a, if I feel safe for a moment, I'm going to patch him up.
Okay. Yelena, what are you doing now that you are driving their van?
Well, what I was planning to do was, before I peeled off with it, was to back up into the remaining shooter and then peel off forward.
Yeah, you can make a drive roll to hit him with the car.
No, my drive roll is worse than my
I was about to
say. What's that?
I was about to say.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, it's when you want to hit somebody with the car that you can't hit anybody with the car.
Yeah, so I rolled a 93, so...
Yeah, he moves out of the way and shoots at the van again.
And then I'll just peel off around the side of the mall.
Are you getting... So let's say Felix's car is still... The car that you all drove here in is sitting in that parking lot. Where are you driving to?
So the parking lot is like in where the front of the mall is.
Mm-hmm.
I am... Oh, my battery's gonna die hold on a second.
Sure.
Oh no, it should be okay. I might cut out if my headphones die, but then I'll just switch to the regular microphone.
All right.
So if Felix and Tara haven't come out the front, then I am I think I would assume that they're trying for a side or a back entrance.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would take the van around the mall.
Okay.
and park it by a side entrance. I'm assuming there's no lights and stuff here, and then probably jump into the back of the van and rummage for weapons or something.
Okay. I don't think you'll find any weapons in the back of the van, but you can pull up near a rear entrance, a utility entrance, and just a few moments after that, Tara and Felix will come out of the back of the mall.
Perfect.
Are the three of you driving off now? Do you want to try and deal with the gunman while you're still here? What's the plan?
Let's just piss off. Let's just go.
No, I'm going to get Felix in the back of the van, and
Yeah.
I'm going to bandage him.
Yeah. You make a first aid roll.
Easy.
All right. So that's going to restore 1d6 hit points. Tara, do you want to roll the
3?
All right. So Yelena's also obviously in need of some first aid, but is also driving. So the three of you peel out.
I'm going to let Elena drive, and
I can wait.
I'm just going to,
Now, I'm thinking the car was actually a rental because I've done Delta Green things before, so it doesn't link to my actual home address or anything stupid. I'm not that dumb.
So we're happy to leave the rental behind.
Yeah, bugger that. Let's just drive off on our new 18 van.
All right.
Felix, what the hell?
Yeah, I thought there'd be one guy with a silenced revolver, not bloody 4 guys with assault rifles. What
were they?
They didn't even give me a chance to talk. They just, yeah.
They just opened up on you? They were just waiting there for you?
Yeah.
Where? How about your contact? Was he there at all?
Well, I didn't see him. Did I hear his voice amongst the shouts? No. Okay. So he was a handler I had, 8 years ago, and I asked him about what's, going on with this case, and he's like, yeah, come to this meeting. That's all I know. So whether I mentioned Exeter, so maybe he knows about that, or he's friends of him.
Oh, geez. We need the equivalent of a hospital, guys. Either we need to go to a real hospital, or we need to see if there's a safe house with hospital equipment that we can go to.
We cannot go to a hospital.
Okay, then
we have gunshot wounds.
Then call. Yes, I know that.
Sorry,
I can tell you approximately what you were wounded with.
I mean, this isn't like a hospital per se, but you have Dr. Dallin's contacts, who you do know is like a Delta Green friendly. He's a psychiatrist, but must have had medical training. That could be an option if you don't have other good options.
Dallin's name was also in those papers somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that what we need is a surgeon to really patch up gunshot wounds. Call him.
Yeah.
I'll call him.
Give me a phone. Hospital has to report this.
Yeah, I'm aware.
So you call Dr. Dallin. He answers his phone.
Yeah, Dr. Dallin, this is Tara Reinhardt. We met.
Yes, I know who you are.
Right. So I have 2 people who in during their actions with the program have sustained gunshot wounds and need serious attention. They are both stable, but but they need to have their wounds repaired and appropriate antibiotics, at least.
Well, I'm not sure why you're calling me. I mean, obviously they need a hospital.
Yes, obviously they need a hospital.
I suppose I do understand why you're calling me.
That's why I'm calling you. Yes, because hospitals are going to mean police and all sorts of questions and difficult to answer questions, honestly.
Well, I mean, if you bring them here, we have medical personnel who have the proper clearance. We can do our best.
As then that'll be what it has to do. Get in what supplies you can, and we'll be there.
All right. Yelena, can you make an alertness check for me?
Sure can. Will I pass this alertness check? Is the question. Oh, hey,
really
I do.
Can.
Oh my gosh!
Just for a moment, you think you see a man in a gas mask in the rear vision mirror on the side of the road as you go by towards the Dorchester, just for a second, and then it's gone. And that's where we're going to finish up for this week. So I'm going to end the recording, and then we'll do stars and wishes.